Welcome to this video, 8 tips on transforming into the best version of yourself, your Me 2.0. So this, I'm delighted to invite you to, with my compliments. It goes alongside the Qualities Transformation Guide, where you write down what you want more of and what you want less of, and that will help you focus yourself on the journey you're making and the change and transition, the transformation you're going to make and hopefully are in the process of making. And that will benefit you, it'll benefit your satisfaction, your fulfillment, your success, your relationships, everyone around you, especially your loved ones. So the first thing is gratitude. Everything you do should be rooted in gratitude. Focus on what you have, focus on what's good, focus on what you've achieved, on your skills, on your qualities and your assets. That will give you a grounding, it will give you momentum. Rather than focusing on lack or what you don't have or the problems or what's wrong, focus on what you're grateful for. When you focus on what you have and humbly be thankful for what you have and you're grateful, I believe the universe gives you more to be grateful for. I'm not the only one saying this. We hear lots of excellent experts teaching us the same thing. I found it myself. So be grateful, it'll benefit you, and it's the right perspective and the right mindset, and you'll get more of what you focus on. The second one is that life is a mix. Point number 2, life is a mix. Somehow we develop this idea that from the media, social media, and maybe from upbringing, that life is good, it's positive, it's nice. It's actually a mix, and we need to expect that, and maybe we need to adjust our expectations to tell us, look, it's going to be part good, part bad, and it's enjoying and being grateful and maximizing the good and creating more of it. But when it's what we don't want, when it's pain in different forms of displeasure or discomfort, how do we deal with that when we have bad moments and bad times? But I think just having that expectation of the balance, bitter and sweet, joy and pain, up and down, just having that expectation, and then building the best version of yourself and developing and nurturing those qualities from that place is good, and it serves you. Number 3 is to go for things with a win or learn mentality. In achieving anything, very rarely, almost never, does everything happen exactly how we want it. That's just not life, is it? The phrase I love is, every master was once a disaster. I think there's a lot of truth in that. Anyone who's successful, they go, or even anything you've achieved, you go from success, failure, and learn, and then you might have a setback, and then you learn from that. And this is something which is really important. Take the lessons. We actually learn when things don't go well, when we fail. I'm sure you've heard fail as FAIL, first attempt in learning. So take that, and remember one thing. I would suggest you to consider that every lesson has a price. If you learn things and take lessons and learnings and it hasn't had a cost, you're lucky. Treat that as a bonus, but expect there to be a financial cost, an emotional cost, and other kinds of costs. And that's the price of that lesson. Suck that up. That's just life. And you can't sit under your duvet and do nothing. You're going to be getting out there, taking action, winning, having setbacks, but take the lessons from your setbacks. Number 4 is to have a really clear and vivid image of the person that you're working towards being, the life they're going to live, the achievements they will have, what they will have enjoyed, the people they would have met, the experiences they would have had, the wealth and the assets, the cash flow, and all of these things. Have it vivid. your family situation and how your family looks, and is that clear? Make sure it's all really clearly painted out. The reason is for your subconscious. Your subconscious cannot differentiate what's happened versus what hasn't. If you give it a clear, vivid picture, and that will transform into instructions for your conscious mind. The more emotion rich and the more detailed and specific it is, the stronger will be that instruction. Now, it's not just a one-off, visualized it, created it, painted it out in detail, and then put it away. No, you need to remind yourself of this morning and night. That's the person and that's the life, and these are the results that you want to be heading towards, and that is what I call your future reality. Rather than a goal, if you say that's my reality but it's in the future, I find that empowering. I invite you to think of it in the same way. Number 5 is you are what you put in. That's into your mind and into your body and into your spirit and your soul. We know junk food's bad for us. We know the kind of foods and the habits that are good for us. You can't be eating rubbish and trying to excel and achieve things. You can, but it'll slow you down. The more you grow and improve holistically and each aspect of your life, the faster your results, the more likely that you'll achieve the other goals that you've got. And it will be fantastic in itself. So follow good habits. This is not about nutrition. It's just to say it's a key part of becoming the best version of yourself and making that journey quicker and making it more likely to succeed for you. The other thing is your mind. What influences are you putting on your mind, on your intellect? Look at the media around you. Social media can be awful. It can have such a negative impact. And the mass media, TV is less popular, but still, and all the mass media you see around you and the messages from society, be very careful. I personally avoid the news like a plague. Happy to be out of touch occasionally on things, but it means that I'm not getting bombarded every hour with awful, heinous crimes, with information that I'm actually going to do nothing with, but it's just there to dampen my soul. It doesn't serve me. I've made that choice. I invite you to consider the same thing, and also look at the people around you and the relationships. It's hard to soar when you're being dragged back and anchored down. Another area of learning, but it all links to giving yourself the environments and inputs and influences that are going to serve you. Number 6 is the present moment. That's all we have. The past has a role. The future has a role. But the present moment is all you have. We can only influence what we do now. We can only really influence today. So I think of every day as a mini life now. I invite you to do the same. The past we can learn from. We said that in another point. Take the lessons from and make that part of our wisdom and our experience and our learnings. But also that makes us, that what we've been through in the past has developed us and made us who we are. And a lot of successful people say that it's the character you've built, the person you've become, and the journey you've been on, not just what you've achieved. So the journey, not just the destination from A to B. That's the role of the past. Looking at the future, yes, that's what we visualize. That's what we have a very clear and vivid picture on. And that's what we plan for and strategize for and anticipate what might go well, what might not. But that's the role of the future and what opportunities there are and threats. But those being dealt with in that way, the past and the future, all you have is now. Realize that your power is in now. Don't get too caught up in things that aren't in front of you, because the most power is the action you take now, and how you change and grow and develop now is the person you'll be tomorrow. Number 7 is that monkey mind. We are incredible humans as a species. Other species have amazing talents. We know dolphins and other species, but we have abilities that are incredible and astounding. And even us as as living things are amazing. But one of the things that goes with that is this monkey mind. It dances all over the place. It creates scenarios. It creates pictures. We spoke about vivid pictures earlier, but it can lead us astray. It can be pessimistic and negative. So we've just got to be very careful in noticing when that monkey mind is active, when it's hyperactive, and when it's leading us astray. It doesn't serve you to have your monkey mind running wild. It will lead you on a dance and it does not serve you. Try and spot it. Try and say, thank you very much for your input. I will deal with that later, and the monkey's not going to know that you're not dealing with it. And the 8th point, the last one, is to separate what you can control and what you can't. Now this links to what we said about the present moment and your power being in the present. Try and differentiate, try and discern what's within your control and what's out of your control. If something is in your control, you can influence it. You might be able to totally influence it or partly influence it. But if it's not in your control, it does not serve you to spend energy. You can plan for it, you can mitigate, you can anticipate, but focus on what's within your control. But that starts when you step back and appreciate it and sorted what's in your control, what isn't, and maybe somewhere in between what you can influence to some extent. The classic example, people complaining about the weather, they're saying it's cold. Well, in this case, it's winter and you're in the UK for me, and it's not going to change. All that person can do is come out less in it. They can see if they can book a holiday. Move is a permanent solution, or just suck it up. But they can't change it. And I think that applies across lots of other things. That's a typical example. But if it's out of your control, realize that and minimize its effect on you. You'll empower yourself by focusing on what's in your control. Thank you. I hope you've taken lots and lots out of this video. I've tried to pour into you generously, and I hope you've benefited from that. Now, what to do next? Grab hold of the sheet, the qualities transformation sheet, that looks at what you want to do less of and what you want to do more of. Create that, write it out for yourself. Simple line down the middle, from and to. From on the left, to on the right. You might want to start on either side. So if you want if you want to be less angry, if you want to be more joyous, they might be a pair, or they might not. And so you might find that you pair things up, and other things you have to find the opposite for. Okay, so find those that will help you map out the kind of person you want and the kind of life that you will live as that person. You'll map out what you're going from and what you're going to. I hope this has been useful for you. Thank you.